Dealers are scared. Breakers are scared. Suppliers are scared. Distributors are scared. Content creators are scared. Investors are scared. Should you be scared? And if you are scared, what should you do about it? Let's talk. Here we sit in early October, 3 weeks away from Halloween, but many in the sports card industry are seeing ghosts right now. I just got back from the Industry Summit 2022 in Las Vegas, and this Industry Summit was unlike any other. If you aren't familiar, Industry Summit is an annual gathering of many of the top dealers, breakers, and sports card business owners from around the world. I've been to the last 4 of these, but this one felt remarkably different than the others. There was an underlying nervousness in the room. On the surface, everything appeared the same. There were speakers giving talks, companies exhibiting, people networking. But below the surface, there was a lot of fear about what the months ahead are going to be like for the sports card hobby. Now, not everybody there was nervous. Some were actually very confident and are looking forward to what's about to come. And there are some really important lessons you can learn right now from those who are not nervous. I'll tell you about that in just a moment. But most of the attendees were nervous. Several dealers and breakers told me that sales were really slow last month. New wax products are not selling out, and wax prices are dropping as a result. For the first time in a long time, some dealers are worried that they may actually get stuck with too much product that they will have difficulty selling through. And now we're starting to see some products get liquidated. Suddenly, there are clearance sales at Walmart and Target on some less popular retail boxes. Word on the street is that the card manufacturers overprinted releases this year compared to current demand. Print run decisions were made last year when wax sales were still frothy and dealers were demanding more and more. So more boxes were made this year as a result based on last year's demand. But now demand has dropped, and suddenly there is an oversupply of certain new releases. This all seems to be coming to a head right now. And combine that with the fact that the Topps Chrome baseball debacle occurred, where some of the key chase cards from that set were accidentally omitted from the product. That has really hurt sales of a flagship product. Topps Chrome baseball got hurt as a result of that. You also have the NFL rookie class that isn't generating as much interest in new football products as we've seen in prior years. And with all of this combined, we're suddenly hitting a low point in the market for new wax release sales right now. This is not good news for the many dealers and shop owners and breakers who depend on wax sales as their primary source of income. And it certainly did not help matters that all of the rumors of Fanatics' acquisition of Panini and that being a done deal and how that was going to be announced at the Industry Summit, all those rumors were proved to be untrue. There is no done deal right now between Fanatics and Panini, at least not yet, and I still think a deal is going to get done very soon, but it's not done yet. And as a result, there were no answers to the millions of questions that the dealers and breakers at Industry Summit had. They wanted to know about their wax allocations and about how wholesale wax prices may change. They wanted to know what Fanatics was going to do if they acquired all the different brands and sets from Panini. And they wanted to know how distributors were going to be affected by all of this. And they wanted to hear if Fanatics was truly going to support their card shops and their breaking operations. But nobody from Fanatics Trading Cards was in the room to answer those questions. Nor was anyone from Panini or Topps on stage this year to answer those questions either. Last year, we at least had Josh Luber there loosely representing Fanatics Trading Cards. He didn't have a lot of details to share, but he did speak and he was very clear that he wanted Fanatics to support local card shops. Panini was there last year as well, and while they weren't certain about their own future, they were at least present. This year, the event was void of all of the card manufacturers, with the exception of Brian Gray from Leaf, who as always had a lot of great wisdom to share. Now, in fairness to Fanatics and Panini and Topps, they don't have answers to share right now. If they had shown up to the event, they would have been bombarded with questions about the potential Fanatics Panini acquisition and what all of their plans are, and I don't think they are ready to definitively answer those questions yet. They will be ready to answer those questions someday, and hopefully someday soon, but the timing of the event wasn't right for them to reveal their plans. But this did not go over well with the many shop owners and dealers and breakers who traveled across the country and in some cases across the globe to come to this event for the express purpose of learning about Fanatics plans and meeting with their team. Now, let me say that I remain extremely confident in Fanatics' long-term strategy. I have met with most of Fanatics leaders and I understand their approach, and I think it's going to be a really, really, really good thing for the hobby in the long term. But until the Panini acquisition gets done and until other key decisions are made, we're all going to be left with more questions than answers. And this lack of answers added to an already nervous group of card shop owners and dealers in that room. And it wasn't just the shop owners and dealers who were worried. Some breakers reported to me that they're having trouble filling their breaks now and that there is an oversaturation of breakers. It's not uncommon to go on a live stream app and see only a few people in a breaker stream these days. There are sometimes more breakers than breaks that can be filled, at least right now at this moment. Suppliers, distributors, and other business owners are also spooked. They're worried about how Fanatics' future moves could affect their business. And then, of course, there are all the economic fears that all of us share. Inflation is rampant. Interest rates are so high that it's cooling business investing in acquisitions. And if companies start laying off employees in the months ahead, what kind of effect is that going to have on the card market? I think it's safe to say it's not going to be good. There was no Halloween masquerade on the industry summit agenda this year, but many were still seeing zombies and ghosts everywhere they looked. The Grim Reaper of hobby horrors may have been lurking in the haunted hallways of the Harrah's Casino. But not every creature there thought that the sports card industry was about to strike midnight. In fact, some mere mortals were so upbeat that they could not wait for the opportunity that the upcoming months might bring. Who are they? And what can we learn about their fearlessness and their boldness about the current state of the sports card hobby? Well, to start, breakers who create high-quality, memorable breaking experiences for their audience aren't nervous. They are building a strong audience with a loyal following of customers who are going to be with them no matter what the market does. Sure, their customers may not spend as much with them if the economy goes south, but they'll still buy in some because they love the experience and the fun escape that these breakers are able to provide. And you can bet that that's what Fanatics wants to see when deciding who gets allocations of wax in the future. So those breakers who are creating the most memorable experiences, they're not nervous. Card shop owners and dealers who have been in the business for many years are not nervous. They've been through much worse before. They survived the economic collapse in 2008. They survived the economic after effects of September 11th. And they survived other periods of time where the hobby had very little consumer interest. They've been through it all and they've survived it all. So they're not nervous today. And they've learned that in every downturn comes opportunity. You've probably heard the stories of great businesses that were founded in tough economic times. Uber, Airbnb, Slack, Venmo, and Warby Parker were all founded during the last recession. Even Disney and Microsoft were started during rough economic periods. What savvy business people and investors know is that most people are going to be nervous and batten down the hatches when a downturn hits. They stop buying, they stop spending, they stop marketing, they stop investing. But the smart money sees this as their moment to gain market share. They market themselves when others don't. They invest when others don't. They perfect their operations and hire really good people when others don't, because they know that when the market rallies back, and it will rally back, that all of their investment during the downturn will put them in the lead position when the uptick happens. Here at Sports Card Investor, we're doubling down despite a downturn. We're outputting more content than we ever have before. We've also been reinvesting in our products. As I'm sure you've seen, because I've talked about it endlessly, we launched a new version of Market Movers called Market Movers X a couple of weeks ago. And despite the market being soft this year, we decided to reinvest heavily in making Market Movers way better than it was before. And even though people aren't spending as much money on cards today as they were in the past, would you believe that in the last 2 months, we've added more than 1,000 new paying Market Movers members? We're certainly not the only small business reinvesting in the sports card market right now. At the industry summit, we heard from companies like Beckett and Tag Grading and Card Shop Live, who are all in the process of making very substantial investments into new technology that's going to better the hobby in the long term. There's opportunity in every type of market. No matter how you're involved in sports cards, these next several months may be your opportunity to shine. If the market does get bad and everyone's dark fears are confirmed, then that's your opportunity to do the hard work and set yourself up for greatness when the heat returns. And the heat will return. Sports cards have a solid 50-plus year history of being a legitimate investable asset class and a great form of entertainment. And Fanatics didn't invest billions of dollars into the sports card market just to watch it whittle away. And while Fanatics cannot control what the economy overall is doing or is going to do in the next year, they're betting on the long term. And they're going to reward the people who put the work in now, who position themselves now as the key players in the future of sports cards. Now, if you're a collector or flipper or investor, you may not be as directly affected by Fanatics and some of what I've talked about today, but you have the opportunity to shine right now as well. Collectors don't care as much about the health of the market because they're in it to collect. And if you buy what you love, you will be happy no matter which way prices go. And collectors now have the opportunity to pick up some pretty cool Grail cards at a fraction of the price that they used to be. So collectors aren't nervous. Savvy flippers aren't nervous either. Even in a down market, flippers can still make money. There are many more deals to be found. There are people that are now willing to sell their cards or collections below market value just to get quick cash. If you're savvy about hunting for collections that scared people want to liquidate for cheap, and then if you break those collections up and flip individual cards, there's still opportunity to make some real money right now. Now, one key for flippers is that you don't want to hold any card for more than a short period of time. This summer, while in Los Angeles, I met a handful of guys who flip cards full-time for a living. And I asked them how they were able to make a living doing that during a time when the sports card market was trending down. They said the key is to flip cards quickly so you aren't caught by market cycles. If you're able to find a really good deal on a card and buy it and then sell it a week later, it doesn't really matter if the market is going down because you didn't hold that card for a long enough period of time for the market trends to really affect you. Long-term investors do their best in a down market because that's where the real deals are found. You guys know that I have bought a lot of cards in recent months. I did a video at the end of August about how I invested another $500,000 into sports cards. The cards that I bought, and you can go back and watch the video, were mostly high-quality, rare cards of some of the greatest players of all time. These were cards that I think will have a lot of value and relevance in 10 years, 20 years, 30 years from now. If you're investing in sports cards right now, for the long term, that is absolutely where your money should be going. Of course, the question is now really a good time to buy? Is it smart to be putting any money into sports cards at all right now? Are we at the bottom of the market, or is it possible that cards could drop in value another 20%, 30%, 50%, or more over the next year. I don't know. I can't predict exactly what's going to happen. I'm more optimistic than most, but it is entirely possible that we will see further significant drops in the sports card market in the months to come. What I do believe, though, is that the cards I'm buying now will be worth more in 5 or 10 years. So if the market does drop another 50%, you can bet that I'm going to double down and buy even more cards. Because I believe in where all of this is headed in the long term. And history is on my side. Now, I've also been selling some cards as well. I have been selling cards that I don't think will be as relevant in 10 or 20 years. I have been selling cards of younger players, prospects, and secondary players, your players who aren't your superstars, who I think are going to have a lot of long-term relevance. Given the short-term economic uncertainty, I'm less willing to take a chance on those types of players and cards than I would have a year or two ago. I'd rather cash out on those cards for whatever I can get and shift the money into cards that I believe are going to hold that real long-term value. Guys, I am not nervous because I have the confidence that no matter what the months ahead may bear, that I will work hard and find opportunities to make the most of the conditions around me. There is always opportunity. Just sometimes you have to think a little differently and work a little harder to find it. And to be clear, I am not advocating that you should take out loans or max out credit cards to invest in cards or start a business right now. Be smart. The next year could be turbulent. Think long term and make the moves today that are sustainable to get you to where you want to go. And while I cannot be certain about what the market will do over the next year, I am certain that there will always be sports card collectors, always, in every type of market. There will forever be tons of people who enjoy opening boxes, collecting cards, and sharing memories with their friends, their dads, their sons, and their daughters. The market will go up and down, as all markets go up and down. But the passion for collecting will never fully go away. And I also know that all the money that's continuing to be invested in the sports card hobby right now, from the very top with Fanatics on down to the new hobby businesses that are forming every day, all of that is going to make the hobby more exciting and compelling than ever before in the years ahead. So I'm not nervous at all. And if you position yourself to take advantage of the opportunities ahead, whatever the market might look like, you can always be confident about your future. What do you think? I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this, please give the video a like, subscribe to our channel, and check out Market Movers X by going to sportscardinvestor.com and clicking on Market Movers in the main menu bar. Thanks. I appreciate you guys watching. Have a great night.